All right, everyone, time to take a look at the second episode of the day, which is Crisis on Earth X, Part 2. The Earth X Prometheus is revealed to be Tommy Merlin. Oliver has a private talk with him while others try to determine where, where does these Nazis come from. Sarah Jax is trying to come up with a theory of time-traveling Nazis, which can mean they're anachronisms, but it doesn't make sense, since they crashed Barry and Iris' wedding. Barry then thinks they are from another Earth. Kara says there are 52 Earths, but none of them has a Nazi regime. Wilson says there's a 53rd Earth, which is called Earth X. It doesn't have an official designation because it is so horrible that no sane person would ever travel there. It then shows that Earth X history followed the same events as Earth 1, but with a critical difference. Stein realizes that in Earth X, the Nazis developed the atomic bombs before Americans and used them to annihilate their enemies, thus winning World War II. Hitler continued his brutal reign until he died in 1994. Oliver tries to get through to Tommy, but when Tommy manages to fool Oliver into thinking he was forced into this by the Fuhrer, he kills himself with a cyanide capsule. Earth-X Oliver reveals a signal that his best friend Tommy is dead. Thawne is upset about how their plan is not going as it should. Oliver slams Thawne into a pillar, forcing Earth-X Kara to step in, with Thawne threatens to rip Oliver's heart. Eventually, they calm down, and Oliver orders Thawne to find the prism. He leaves, and Kara encourages Oliver to trust in their plan as he made it. They kiss, indicating they are married on Earth X. Lucy calls Curtis and has him run a search for dimensional vortices supported with Starlab systems. Oliver comes, and he talks with Felicity, why she refused his proposal. Felicity explains that while she loves Oliver, she's afraid that history will repeat itself as she got shot after their last engagement in Dark Waters. Caitlin, Wilson, and Jax try to come up with a way to track the Nazis, but it's not going so well, since Cisco is out of commission. Stein comes in and has to speak with Jax alone. Jax finally reveals why he's acting the way he does. Once they disconnect from Firestorm, once they, dis- once they disconnect Firestorm, Martin leaves. Jax feels he no longer will have what he really wants. Stein, calling him the closest thing he has for a father. Alice goes back to labs and meets Sarah. She asks if Alex is okay, and she claims she is. Sarah goes to lift and thinks there's not going to be a thing between the two. Alex believes so too. Kara comes and wonders why Alex is like this. Alex explains that she thinks she made a mistake by making a one-night stand with a strange woman, thinking it goes against the awesome thing she had with Maggie. Clara reassures her that what she had with Maggie was real and awesome, but through her, Alex learns she's a lesbian and to be true to herself. Iris was around and she asked Felicity how long it is going to take for the Brainiacs to track down Earth Xers. She doesn't know until Iris she's dealing with some Oliver stuff. Iris knows it's about Felicity refusing Oliver's proposal, as everyone heard her back at the rehearsal dinner. Felicity then gets a ping from a company building, which is under attack by Nazis. Iris goes to get Barry. Outside the attack building, Car finds a spot and Barry speeds there. They have to wait a while as Oliver comes with his motorcycle. He then remarks he doesn't have super speed like them. Three heroes then come face to face with enemies who have stolen the prism. Dark Arrow, Overgirl, and Reverse Flash unmask themselves, and all three heroes are shocked, as Silver and Kara go up against their doppelgangers, and Barry once again comes face to face with Arch Enemy. Thawne explains he used time travel to escape his fate after Eddie Thawne killed himself, but nothing beyond that. Oliver X remarks that for both him and Oliver, this is like looking in the mirror and seeing only weakness. Kara X does the same to Kara and gloats. How on Earth X they formed a meritocracy after Hitler's reign, and Kara declares her a pervert. Thawne speeds up and Barry takes him on. Oliver takes an arrow and aims at Kara X. She remarks it won't hurt her, but Oliver says his arrow will and shoots her. And the arrow does hurt her, as Oliver shot her with a kryptonite arrow, shocking Kara. Oliver says he made them in case an evil version of Kara shows up. Kara X attacks Oliver, but Kara jumps in and blows her away with a freezing breath. Oliver X runs after Kara X, and she is pissed. He suggests she take her anger at a nearby building under construction. She uses her heat vision to weaken the building's structure. The one skip as Oliver, Barry, and Kara move to rescue the workers and stabilize the building. They succeed. Oliver, Barry, and Kara return to Star Labs. Barry gives Alex the arrow. Oliver used an Overgirl and reveals that Dark Arrow and Overgirl are Oliver and Kara's Earth X doppelgangers. Alex is shocked that there is another Kara, but Bell says there are actually 53 Karas, just like there are 53 Earths and 53 Kryptons. Alex goes to analyze the blood sample on the arrow. It quickly learns the blood has a massive amount of solar radiation within it, which could be a weakness in Overgirl. But this team thinks they might be able to track her. Elsewhere, Don tells Kara X that he is worried. That time comes, Oliver X will choose his wife over the fatherland. Kara X claims Oliver will stay on the right path, but also asserts that she will make sure he chooses the fatherland over her. Kayla and Felicity Wells' Stein are trying to locate Overgirl. Mick approaches Kayla and asks her how Killer Frost appears. She usually admits it happens when she is scared or angry. Mick tries to scare her, but Kayla just remarks, "Nice try." Wells manages to track the locate Overgirl. At the time vault, Barry looks at on his records and remarks how seeing his face always brings back the memory of his mother's death. Oliver comes and encourages Barry and Iris to maintain their love, and Barry says Felicity will come around with him, but stops. When she appears, Felicity tells they found them. Carrie, Barry, Oliver, Sarah, Alex, and Firestorm arm and prepare themselves for battle. At the site, the heroes enter the Nazis' location. Barry knocks all Nazis out, but soon they see they are surrounded. A fight starts, and while Barry takes on Reverse Flash and Kara takes on Overgirl, Alex says she can see enemy Flash, enemy Supergirl, which is everyone wondering, where's Oliver X? Not to everyone, he's entering the Star Labs. In the labs, the women are wondering why Mick didn't go with the others. Wells encourages Dark Arrow and manages to trigger the alarm, but Dark Arrow knocks him out. Mick tells Felicity and Iris to hide, while he and Killer Frost prepare to take on Dark Arrow. At the battle site, the heroes are fighting with everything they have, but Overgirl knocks Oliver down. He recovers and attempts to shoot her with Kryptonite arrow just as she's about to finish Shara off, but Overgirl catches the arrow. In Star Labs, Dark Arrow enters the Speed Lab and is attacked by Mick. Dark Arrow easily disables him. He then remarks, "I bet you're scared now," but Dark Arrow claims he doesn't fear anything. Mick remarks he wasn't talking to him, and then Killer Frost grabs his bow and starts freezing it. She claims he didn't think this through, but uses an electrical device to knock her out. Then, members of Team Arrow appear and take him on. However, he manages to beat them. The Nazis also defeat the heroes at the battle site by unleashing a fully automated Metallo. As the heroes recover, they soon realize they've been chained and have collars on their necks. Thawne claims he could kill them, but Alex says they already would have, otherwise they wouldn't have the collars. Oliver X appears, and Kara X collapses, feeling intense pain. Through Oliver X's encouragement that they found her, she manages to stand up. Thawne then reveals to the heroes that Kara X is dying. Alex realizes it's because of the massive solar radiation in her body. Kara X confirms it by saying she flew too close to the sun. In order to save her, she needs a new heart, which Supergirl can provide. That's why they sold the prism. It's used in order to expose both cars to red sunlight in order to perform the surgery for the heart transfer. They took others prisoner to use them as bargaining chips. Alex is terrified and Oliver claims that he will kill Oliver X, but he claims he won't, since he is weak. Metal unleashes a kryptonite beam and knocks the heroes out. In Star Labs, Felicity and Iris find the place is quiet and wonder where everyone are. Felicity then wonders how Iris can maintain her life with aliens, Nazis, and other villains constantly on them. She reveals that by waking next to Barry. Felicity then silences her as she hears someone coming. It's a Nazi, and they back away. The women then witness the Nazis locking up Renee into the pipeline and are worried. What has happened to everyone? Elsewhere, Oliver, Barry, Sarah, Alex, Stein, and Jax wake up somewhere. Alex is terrified that Kara is gone. Sarah assures her they'll get her back. People are being escorted somewhere, their hands bound. Jax claims that it's not their Earth, and Sarah claims they are on Earth X, in a concentration camp. Dun dun dun. So anyway, let's take a look at some trivia surrounding this episode. This is the first Arrow episode to air on Monday. This is the first episode of the series not to feature David Ramsey. This leaves only one cast member to appear in every episode, Stephen Amell. For Colin Donald to do his guest spot as the Earth X version of Prometheus, he wrapped up a full day of filming in Chicago Med, flew to Vancouver to shoot a scene, and then flew back to Chicago to resume filming Chicago Med the next day. Felicity referred to Oliver of Earth X as Oliver of the High Castle, a reference to the television series and novel Man in the High Castle, which also depicts the world where the Nazis won World War II. Similarly, the television adaptation explored alternate dimensions in its second season. Oliver says, "You couldn't leave one for me," to Barry Allen, and refers to when Nate Haywood said the same thing to Wally West in Rubicon. The green kryptonite arrow used by Oliver against the car of Earth X is a reference to the arrow used by an older Oliver Queen to stop Superman in the storyline Batman The Dark Knight Returns. Oliver using a kryptonite arrow was likely a reference to Super Fight Club 2.0. Kara told Oliver that he and Barry wouldn't have been able to overpower her unless Oliver had a kryptonite arrow in his quiver. Oliver stated reasons for having such weaponry to fight back against evil Kryptonians. It was also similar to Batman's motivation for creating anti-Superman weaponry in the pre-Flashpoint continuity of the comics. It's also a reminiscent of Project 7734. When asked if she could track overgrown solar radiation signature using her blood, Felicity responds that once she caught a serial killer off a face cream. This is a reference to the Arrow episode Broken Dolls, when Felicity figured out how the doll maker was choosing his victims. Barry wonders how Eobard Thawne is still alive despite his being erased from existence and fast enough. Eobard simply says that time travel is confusing. However, it would be revealed in season 5 of The Flash that Eobard uses the negative speed force, which, when traveled to, renders the speedster immune to timeline changes. Assad helping previously stated that the reason for Eobard's seemingly unkillable nature would be revealed in season 5. This explains Eobard's existence in this crossover. Barry is surprised to see that Eobard is still alive, even though he last saw Eobard alive at the end of Flashpoint. While that version of Eobard was later killed by the Black Flash in the DC's Legend of Tomorrow episode Aruba, does not be the death Barry was referring to, as Barry did not witness it himself. However, it's likely that Barry correctly guessed that this was the version of Eobard from season 1 instead of the Flashpoint version due to him wearing the Wells face. And then finally, let's take a look at some goofs. Harry says there are 53 cars in the multiverse, assuming that every person has a doppelganger on every Earth. This has previously been shown to not be true as Harry's daughter, Jessie, does not have a doppelganger on Earth 1, and when Barry first arrived on Earth 38, he found out that he and several other characters of Flash and Arrow did not exist on Earth 38. The planet Krypton might also exist in every universe, or at least the 53 known ones. Earthman Oliver tells Earth-X Tommy that the latter's Earthman counterpart is dead. After this, Earth-X Tommy says that Earth-X Oliver is his best friend and that he would die for him. Oliver says that he would have died for Tommy. Earth-X Tommy doesn't know what Oliver meant by that, with Oliver explaining that Earth 1 Tommy is dead, as if he hadn't already told Earth-X Tommy this. So overall, I really do like this episode, and the fact that Barry, Carver, and Oliver get to meet their Earth-X doppelgangers in this episode is also pretty interesting. So yeah. So overall, I give Crisis on Earth-X Part 2 5 arrowheads out of 5. When I tune in as we take a look at the final episode of the day, Irreconcilable Differences. So until then, in the words of Oliver Queen, you have failed this city.